I helped my coaching client 12x their views on Instagram in just 3 weeks. And we did it all by just fixing one main thing, and for the first time I'm just gonna break down and share with you everything we did in those short 21 days of working together. So I'm just gonna share with you the entire process, no holding back. You basically get the entire coaching that I did for them for free. So you guys can go out there and do this yourself. And you don't need to be super smart, this isn't anything crazy. As you'll see in this video, all of this is simple and everyone can do it. And I also just recently went on a call with an agency owner who makes over $1 million a month, and we had a great call. So towards the end of the video, I'll also be sharing some insights from our call, so make sure to watch till the end. Also, make sure to join my personal Telegram channel down below, and check out TakeFusion.com. And if you want my personal one-on-one coaching and mentorship, book a call down below. Alright, I first want to mention, my goal in this video isn't to tell you only what we did for them, because if you're not in the exact same situation, you might not find that as valuable. What I actually want to do in this video is teach you how to analyze your own situation and figure out the next steps you have to fix. Because every single day that you don't fix your issues is every single day you're losing money. You don't know how much not knowing the correct information is costing you. You could be making 100K a month, 200K a month, but you're not because you don't know how. It's very simple. So my goal is to teach you. And I want to share with you how we diagnose their issue and how we help them. Right? The goal of this video isn't to tell you the main things they needed to fix. I will tell you that, but not only that, because I don't want to give you a fish and feed you for a day. I actually want to teach you how to fish and feed you forever. If you understand the process of learning what you have to work on, you will make a lot of money. And the entire process is so simple, but it's extremely hard to master, right? It's like chess. It's easy to learn how the pieces move, but it's very hard to become good at it. And business just comes down to a bunch of micro skills and knowing what to focus on. And the root and cause of every issue is in this. Now, you probably don't understand this sentence in its full potential, so I'll try my very best to get it closer to you throughout the video with stories, with examples, and everything I can. So the only thing that separates someone who makes $1 million a month and someone who makes 10K a month is knowing what to focus on and having the necessary micro skills and knowledge to perform those necessary tasks. And a big part of this video will be going in depth about this topic. And again, recently went on a call with a very smart person in the OFM industry. He makes over 7 figures a month. We went on a coaching call together and I expanded my view on the topic of focus and how important it is to making money. And I'm going to share it with you in this video. So if you want to be a step closer to making over $1 million a month, watch this entire video. And we'll go over everything from where these coaching clients were at. They are a couple from Canada. I already mentioned them in my previous video. And this is just basically a video of going more in depth and talking about them. These are some stats where they were at. They were averaging around 10K views. They were at 111K followers. And this is some of the after. They now average around 100 to 250K views on IG Reels. Their main account grew almost 20K followers in a month, let's say 3 weeks. This is a review they left for us, and these are their average views, as you can see. Very nice. Alright. But now let's go over the part, why am I even qualified to talk about this, and why should you even listen to me? I'm somewhat of a master at getting traffic, and as you probably know, traffic is everything. Without traffic, you don't make any money. You can have the best model, but if you don't get any views, if you don't funnel anything to her page, if you have no traffic, you will make no money. And besides gathering hundreds of thousands of followers on many Instagram and TikTok accounts and documenting it, we've also helped hundreds of agencies scale and grow accounts to millions of followers. I'm only gonna list some of the biggest ones here, as I believe a few reviews from 7-figure agencies are worth more than 100 different reviews from 5-figure agencies. And the reason why my position is unique and why I can teach you this stuff is because we have the largest and most successful repurposing software in the OFM industry. That helps us a lot because we're used by the biggest agencies in the world. This gives us insights into their operation. We have the chance to speak with them, exchange information, and learn what works for them. For example, some of the people we've helped that use our software include Arthur. He's the co-founder of Get All My Links. You've probably heard of them. Pretty much every OF model uses it in their Instagram bio. He also has icon management. Also, waifu Mia, I'm 1,000,000% sure you've heard of her, right? Bluresca Agency manages her. Untouched Agency, one of the biggest agencies in the world. Derek Brown and Nick. Haley Davis. Derek Brown, I'm pretty sure now runs traffic for Haley Davis. Goodnight John, you know him, he's a veteran of the industry. Mickey Marie, she uses our guide, our software. She's been using it for over a year. And so when you have so many of these big names behind us, you would be stupid not to watch this video and listen to what I have to say and teach you. Now on the screen, you can see some reviews here, right? On the left, you can see a message from Adam that I received where he basically said, well, your free content is better than everyone else's paid content. You have Ado that tested pretty much every other repurposing software / spoofer on the market. He says only our works. Goodnight John, he created a brand new account. On the first 5 videos, got 1 million views with our software. Derek Brown, you can see a review from him. 7-figure agency, right? He uses Stick Fusion to run over 50k IG pages, right? I'm not gonna talk about it too much. You can stop the video, look at the reviews. Let's get on with the video now. So let's start from the beginning and give you their entire story from how they approached me to how they realistically even 20x their views, right? It's more than 10. At the time when we got the review, it was, let's say, 10 times more, but realistically, we even 20x their views, okay? And to first give you some numbers, again, they averaged around 8 to 12k views on average, 1.11k followers. Now they're at 130k. They were struggling. They lost many months of their time, but no progress. They were losing revenue. They hit a brick wall. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't go viral as before. They didn't have a clear plan. They didn't have traffic coming in. We fixed all of that, okay? And so they reached out to me on Calendly, right? That's where you book a call with me for coaching. And I usually have 2 questions on there. I have a question of what is the biggest problem you're facing right now that got you seeking help? And please be as detailed as possible, right? I want details. I want to be able to help you properly. And they answered, the biggest problem I'm facing right now is converting traffic into paying OnlyFans subscribers. I'm currently driving between 400 to 1k clicks, link in bio clicks, per day to my models' pages. But the conversion rate hovers around 1%, okay? And I also have a question of, please be as detailed as possible so I know what to expect and better prepare for the call. Where are you currently? Where are you trying to get to? And what's stopping you? What is the obstacle? And they basically sent me a link, which I really liked. They sent me a link to a Google Docs file where they wrote quite a lot where they're at. They had really good preparation. They really gave me a lot of information. I knew before I even went on a call with them, these guys are going to be great. They're going to be hard workers. They really want to make this work. They're really sure about the coaching. They know I'm the guy. They really trust me. And basically what they said was, it was where I'm currently at. And they said, I currently manage 2 models. Each of them gets between 400 to 1k link clicks in bio. One model averages around 10 new subs a day, while the other gets around 2 to 3 subs per day. Most of this traffic comes from IG and TikTok and some from Twitter, with varying degrees of success and depending on the post style and the day. Then they said where I want to get to. My goal is to scale this to 10k or 100k clicks per day. On the link in bio, ideally converting around 1%, which would mean 100 to 1k new subs daily. I want to build reliable, scalable traffic engines that consistently bring in high volume, high quality clicks to the model's link in bios. And then they basically said, what's stopping me? The biggest challenge right now is having a clear platform-specific content and growth strategy. I know each platform, IG, TikTok, Reddit, X, YouTube, Shorts, etc., they behave differently, but I haven't fully nailed down what works best on each one for consistent growth and traffic. I'm posting regularly, but I feel like I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall instead of executing a tested playbook. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with this, right? Because everybody knows all the information, right? There's so much information out there. You know how to do Reddit, you know how to do IG, everything, but it's so hard to do. It feels like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Me and my partner call it throwing shit at the wall, right? So I found that funny that he said that. And it makes it much easier when you have a mentor who's already done everything that can give you step-by-step executable action plans that you can just put into action, start following the steps and start seeing results. And they also said, I also suspect I might be missing out on some higher leverage activities, whether it's influencer marketing, paid ads, collaboration, or specific content formats that go more viral. All right, now let's dissect this. What did they do right and what did they do wrong? For example, what I realized immediately was they were focusing on clicks, okay? They had the idea of if we just focus on getting more clicks to get all my links, we're gonna make more money. And while on paper that does seem like the logical thing, hey, if we get more clicks, we make more money because that's more traffic and that's more people coming to the page. It isn't exactly healthy and productive thinking. Let me explain why. As soon as I read their application for the call, before we went on a call, I had an example that came to mind. Around 2.5 years ago, when I was starting out in this industry, I had a guy. Let's say that we were sharing information between each other. We were at similar levels, only making a bit money, not too much. And he was like, hey, if I automate 100 accounts, because we realized we used BlueStacks for automation back in the day. We were testing out what works. And we realized if we uploaded videos to the BlueStacks accounts, and it's an emulator, by the way, if you don't know what BlueStacks is, it's a phone emulator basically. And we realized if we create a TikTok account on the emulator and upload videos, they would usually get around 1,000 views on average. And then we were like, well, hey, if I upload 3 videos a day, that's 3,000 views. If I do it on 100 accounts, 3 videos, that's gonna be like 300k views. And we were like, well, hey, 300k views, you gotta make a lot of money from that, right? But on paper, that does sound really, really good. Just like their clicks, if we get more clicks that get all my links, we're gonna make more money. But I'll tell you where the flaw is. We had the approach of what if we just got 300k views on one video instead of putting it on 300 videos. And that's a much better approach because the 300k views you're gonna get on 100 different accounts. What kind of traffic was it? Who viewed your video? Was it Tiffany from California? Who was it? Was it John from New York? Some random guy? He doesn't even want to buy your OnlyFans. It can be so many random viewers. It can be a grandma from Canada. I don't know. You can get so many random views. They're not your ideal customers. Your goal isn't to get as many views as possible. It's to get as many views as possible from your target audience. And if you were to get 300k views from USA-based male traffic, that would mean a lot more than getting them across 100 accounts. And so I also explained that example to them. You're focusing on the wrong thing. It's not about just how many clicks you can get. It's about how many good clicks you can get. How many of your ideal customers clicked the link in bio, right? And it's also really important to know what you're focusing on. Let me give you another example. My last video got, I think it's around 460 views around the time of making this video. It only got less than 500 views, and the video before that did like 2,000 views. The video that had less than 500 views made us more than 3 times the money than the video that had 2k views. Why is this? The video that had 2k views, more of a general audience viewed it. Because I want my videos to be watched by OnlyFans agencies, right? And the video that had less views actually brought in more rich OFM agencies, more agencies that were making more money, right? From that video, I booked a call with the guy that makes $1 million a month. I booked a call with a guy that makes $1 million a year in the crypto industry. He also booked a call. And I also got a call with another guy that already does pretty well, makes around 50k, has a couple of models, right? And it also boosted the software sales, all that stuff. While the video with 2k views didn't bring in as much revenue, but it got like 4 times more views. And that's because it's not only about how many views you can get. I don't try to make my videos very clickbaity, right? It's not my goal to get like 10k views. I'm fine with 100 views if the right people watched it. You don't need a lot of views to make a lot of money. And it's the same with this. It just matters who watched your video, who clicked the link in bio. And I explained that to them, okay? But what they did right was they were very stats and proof driven. I actually loved the fact that they had a whole presentation set up. They had a presentation, they showed everything to me. They showed like statistics from their clicks. They had multiple accounts, like let's say 20 other accounts. They showed full statistics of this account got this much traffic, this is how much money we made, blah, blah, blah. They had so many stats. They were very prepared. That's what I liked. And I realized they have very good work ethic, right? They upload like 4 or 5 videos a day and they have multiple profiles. So their work ethic was amazing, but they were focusing on the wrong thing. They were just like, let's get more clicks. Now, let me tell you what we did for them, okay? What we used to 20x their Instagram views was very, very simple. First of all, what I told them, a mistake they made for a long time. They did this for 4 months. I want to give you an example of how much time and money you can lose if you don't have the right information. You remember when I said earlier, you don't know how much not knowing the information you don't know is costing you, right? They were using Buffer for automation for 4 months. And for 4 months, their views were terrible. Their revenue was dropping, right? Because at their peak, they were making 96K a month. And when they contacted me, they were making only around 20K. And I told them, if you just had the TikTok and IG guide, by the way, if you want to know what guide I'm talking about, it's on tickfusion.com/products. We sell the TikTok and Instagram guide, our entire operation, everything we use to run accounts in very short terms. I told them, if you had that guide, you would have saved yourself, first of all, 4 months, and you would have made a lot more money. I can't put a number on it, but at least 100K more, right? Because their views were terrible in that period. And the reason for that was because they were using automation. And in our guide, we describe, do not do automation. We do everything manually. We post manually. We do everything, no automation, okay? You can schedule reels, but upload them manually. Don't use Buffer. Sometimes it's okay, maybe for a different niche, but for OFM, we love to do everything manually, and we are very big proponents for doing everything manually. Don't automate stuff. Just do it yourself. Do manual stuff, okay? So that was one thing, how they could have immediately saved themselves 4 months and earned a bunch more money. But the most important thing that they really liked, and I actually have a very funny story about this. Common factor analysis. First, let's define it so you know what it means. Analyze the top 20% of the best performing videos and figure out what they all had in common. Let's say you uploaded 60 videos in 30 days. 80% of them averaged 10K views, and the other 20% got like 50K views. Analyze what was in them. Hey, were they outside? Were you doing something fun in the video? Did they include other people? Was it a collaboration? Was the lighting better? Did you have a better hook? Did you reward the viewer in a better way? Were you at a gas station spraying gasoline over yourself? I don't know, random stuff. Were you in a grocery store and did some funny stuff where everybody watched? Were you jumping on top of a car? Did you go in a dirty pool? These are all examples, by the way, from Jellybean Brains. She's really good at this. I'll talk more about how she doubles down on common factor analysis, but right, analyze why did the best performing videos, why were they best performing? Write down the factors in an Excel sheet maybe, and just double down. If you realize they were all outside and she had a good hook and rewarded the viewer and they all had other people in it and it had amazing lighting, it wasn't boring, double down on it. And I have a really funny story about this. When we were on our call, I told them, right after they paid for the coaching, I was like, guys, it's gonna sound really simple and stupid, but why don't you just use common factor analysis to get better videos? And they told me, hey Renato, before we went on this call, yesterday in the evening, because this is a couple from Canada on the coaching, 2 of them, the couple was laying in bed and they were watching my video on IG. And I mentioned common factor analysis. Hey, if you want to get more views, why don't you just analyze the videos that did the best and double down on them? And they told me, we stopped the video and we looked at each other and we were like, why didn't we think of this? because the stuff I'm sharing is so simple and so basic, but nobody does it. And I'll explain why later, because as entrepreneurs, it's really, really hard to know what to focus on because we think we have to do too much, right? But you really don't. You just follow the most basic principles. Use common factor analysis. And that was the main part we did. We just analyzed what went viral in the past and recreated those videos. We stopped automation and what they really liked. The thing that they really liked about the call was we went on a call for like an hour and 30 minutes where I basically, we went over a bunch of videos. We went like 6 months back on their feed and we just looked at the videos and I just told them, hey, this video did better than this because this was different. This did bad because this. And we just analyzed everything for an hour and 30 minutes. That was like pure gold to them. That really helped them understand everything I'm saying because I gave them specific examples for their own content. Hey, this is bad because it did this. For example, they had a problem where a big thing, I actually didn't write this in the script here on the screen, but one of the big things that I told them was, let's say an ideal fan comes to your page. Are you confirming his beliefs about you or are you denying them? He wants to buy your OnlyFans. Did you confirm in his mind that you do OnlyFans or are you just a random girl that doesn't do OnlyFans? Because they had some videos where they looked like try-on hauls. They would just put on clothes and they would just the girl would just walk in front of the camera, show her outfit, and that's it. And it was like 6 or 7 videos in a row, and I told them, hey, why would guys watch this to sub? If you were a girl, would you watch this for outfit ideas? And she was like, yes. Right? You have to confirm the suspicions. And then we came to a video where they rented out a bar. It was really good lighting. The video started with her kneeling down on the floor, on her knees. She spit into a bottle, let's say. She spit in it, had a sexy face, was looking at the camera. She was on the ground, and it was a great piece of content and got a lot of views. That kind of content confirms, yes, I have an OnlyFans. Yes, I want you to give me money. Give me money. And videos where you just try on clothes, and not even in a sexual way, it's just trying on clothes, doing your makeup. Who's gonna watch that? Girls. Girls are gonna watch it. And girls aren't gonna sub to your OnlyFans, right? You need guys. You want guys to sub to your OnlyFans. So also, I think I didn't write here is confirm the suspicions of your viewers, okay? That also helped them quite a lot to understand what they have to do, right? You have to confirm the suspicions. Now, an example of this is, you can check it out, maybe Sophie Rain and Jellybean Brain /Jamalis. Sophie Rain, she always has the exact same content. She's wearing like tight shirts and tight hot pants. She's showing off her hips. She has a childish face. She's like blowing air into her cheeks. She's moving her lips to the side, has a weird look like a 15-year-old, doing some weird stuff. It's always the same. And Jellybean Brains is an example, a perfect example of just repeating what works to go viral. And she did this in the past and just adapted her content. She is the perfect example, in my opinion, of common factor analysis, because we've been following her since 2.5 years ago, and we know how her content changed. When she wasn't making a lot of money, what she would do was she would just do weird stuff. She would drink pickle juice. She has webbed toes, so she has 6 toes on her feet, on one of her feet. She would show that. She would go into dirty pools. She would do weird stuff. She would have like light or the sun behind her, and she would be in a dress, and through the dress you could see her pussy lips, right? She would just do weird stuff that got a lot of views and just kept on doubling down. Then when they got more money, then she started jumping on cars, doing weird stuff at gas stations, and now she's pretty much known for just destroying cars. She doesn't even upload as much. Before, she was uploading like 9 TikToks a day across 3 different profiles. And now she uploads videos much less, and they all go viral because she takes a bath, stands in front of a Lamborghini, and destroys the mirror, right? So It's just doubling down on what works. If something gets a lot of views, analyze why it got a lot of views and do it again. It's very simple, okay? And I also explained to them, you don't have to fix 10 areas of your business to make a lot of money. Just fix the one biggest problem that's going to make you the most money. And again, as entrepreneurs, and as business owners, it's really hard because the amount of things we can do is literally infinite. You can do Reddit, you can do TikTok, you can do Twitter, you can fix your chatting, you can go hire chatters, you can do it yourself, then you can do this, that. There's so many things and it's really hard to know what to focus on. And when we got on a call, they also thought, hey, we need to fix this, we need to fix that. And I basically just asked them, if we were to focus, and this is a question you can ask yourself too, if we were to focus on just one thing, no two things, no three things, only one thing is allowed. If you were to focus on only one thing, and that one thing would bring you the most money out of all the things, what would it be? And we came to the conclusion it would be if we go viral and if we get more views, we're going to make more money. It's very simple. And that's what we did. We went viral, we made a lot more money, they 20x their views, and now they go viral all the time, right? Now, here comes the most important part of the video, okay? This is the most important part because it shows how we actually came to the conclusion. And this is what I want to teach you. It was diagnosing their correct issue, because thinking you're doing something wrong and trying to fix it while that's not the problem is gonna waste a lot of time, okay? For example, automation. They used 4 months of their damn time on focusing on automation and not knowing why they aren't getting views. And they just had to stop automation and that's it. As soon as they stopped doing that, they immediately increased their views. And that when they also started following the common factor analysis and doubling down on what worked, stopped automation, and confirmed suspicions of viewers like, hey, yes, I do OnlyFans, they immediately 10x their views, right? Now, here's what we did. The root of their issue was that they lacked focus on the right thing. And again, as business just comes down to a bunch of micro skills and knowing what to focus on. So the only thing that actually separates someone who makes $1 million a month and someone who makes 10K a month is knowing what to focus on and having the necessary micro skills and knowledge to perform those necessary tasks. So the person I went on a call with was actually Bryce Adams. It wasn't actually her, it was her boyfriend and manager, both of those things. And I'm not going to reveal his name. You can probably find it, but I'm not going to, just in case he wants to be private. But if you want to take a look at her profile, it's at @FitBryceAdams on Instagram. They have 1.3 million followers. They make over $1 million a month. And we went on a coaching call together, okay? And what do I mean by micro skills? Let me explain that first. If somebody tells me, build a software company, only those 4 words, those 4 vague words with no instructions, if you tell me build a software company, I can do it. Now, why can I do it? I know micro skills. I know how to code. I understand copywriting. I understand sales. I know how to make a website. I know customer support. I know how to hire people. I know how to set up the support in correct ways because I also do it for my software, TechFusion, right? If somebody just tells me build a software company, I can do it. But if you walk up to a random person on the street and tell him build a software company, he's going to have no clue how to do it. Because he doesn't have the necessary micro skills. He doesn't know how to code. He doesn't know how to set up a website. No copywriting, no sales, right? I know how to price the product. I know how to find the ideal customers for the product. I have a bunch of these micro skills. And business is just a bunch of micro skills, okay? And I realized I have this sentence written here. People struggle with focus and knowing what to focus on. Bryce Adams is good at this, others aren't. That's why they make less money. So, in a very short period of time, Bryce Adams and her boyfriend managed to make and scale to over $1 million a month. Now, how did they do it? The let's call him John. Let's call her boyfriend John. That's not his name. I'm just going to call him that. Just to keep his privacy if he wants to have it. But again, I'm sure you can find it. I don't think he's too private about it. John had a bunch of business experience in the past. He's also, let's say, friends with Alex Hormozy. You probably know him. And he had a bunch of business experience in the past where he made a lot of money. He learned a bunch of micro skills and everything necessary to do business. And then when he starts an OFM business, right, he gets into the Onlyfans industry, he's not a beginner because he already had a bunch of micro skills from the past. And that's the problem a lot of people have. Because they just get in this industry and they think like, oh yeah, I'm going to make this business work. Well, first you're going to know how to talk to models. You're going to have customer support. You got to handle chatting. You have to know how to manage a team. You have to know how to go viral on platforms. And let's just take it to the most basic level. You have to know how to use a computer. You have to know how the internet works. Imagine if you didn't even speak English or you didn't even know what the internet was, right? So we all have these micro skills. And the more you have, the more necessary skills you have for that topic, the easier it's going to be to make money. Because if you want to start a software company, you first have to learn how to code. Of course, you can also pay someone else to do it, but let's say you're alone, right? And I already know how to code, so it's going to be quicker for me to do it. And the same with John, right? His fake name. He already had a bunch of micro skills, so as soon as he got into this industry, he made a lot of money because he told me on our coaching call, he said, we started this goal together of being the best. We wanted to be the best at something, right? Because the amount of things, I have this written here too, the amount of things we can do as business owners to increase revenue is infinite, but the hard part is knowing what to focus on, as we can't do everything. Again, you can't fix 10 areas at once. You can only focus on the biggest problem. And the reason why John, right, Bryce Adams make a lot of money is because in their head, they can immediately get rid of stupid ideas. They're not going to be like, hey, we could do this, we could do that to increase traffic. No. Immediately in their head, as soon as they encounter an issue or a scaling issue to make more money, instead of wasting time, they're immediately going to be like, hey, if we were to focus, that's the key word of the day, focus. If we were to focus on only one thing, and that one thing is going to make us the most money, that's what we focus on. Okay? So the takeaway from all of this was, again, how we did it. How did we diagnose their issue? And by the way, growing accounts that are already large, like 100K, it's really hard to grow them quickly. They actually told me that they were stuck at this number for months. Like for months, they were stuck at 111K. And in less than a month, they got 20K followers, right? How did we know what to do? How did I help them? And how did I know what they have to focus on? Because I just thought in terms of what is going to make them the most money. We crossed off options and we came to the conclusion, hey, if you were to just get 10 times more views, you would make a lot more money. Yeah, you would make a lot more money. So that's the reason why Bryce Adams makes a ton more money, makes $1 million a month, and you don't. Because they have the necessary skills of knowing what to focus on. They have micro skills and they have experience of knowing what to focus on and recognizing the number one thing that's going to make them money. Because most people, they spread themselves out. They try to do 10 things at once. But it's not the question of how many things you can do at once. It's how many things can you do right and really do it right. Like really do your best. Like at the end of the day, say, I really did my best. The reality is you can only do one, maximum 2 things. And the most successful agencies I know, and every time I've seen the most success and revenue increase in my business was when I only focused on one thing. So that's the takeaway of the video. I hope you found value in it, and I'll see you in the next one.